welcome to this very short introduction to Scenario Maker, which is a tool to create interactive videos in a very simple way in which you need no knowledge about coding, scripting, or anything like that. If you can capture a video, if you can upload it to YouTube or Vimeo or any other place where you can embed videos from, you can use Scenario Maker to make them interactive. You can go into scenariomaker.aau.dk, then you will register, create a user. I already have one, like this. And then you'll meet the dashboard. Right now I can see all the different videos that has been made. And if you want to start, you can go down here in Scenario Maker. That is our editor. You can see here we have a small tutorial. You can always close that one. And the way Scenario Maker then works is that you add different nodes here, you add different blocks as we call them. Either you create a video block, that is the primary thing that you will do. But you have also the option to create links that will open external pages as a pop-up window and then get you back into the scenario afterwards. Or you can create text blocks, which functions a lot like a content management system where you'll be able to edit headings, typography, stuff like that, create entire text pages, able to click you on through your scenario. All the blocks more or less looks the same. They have a beginning and they have an end. And the way it works is that you create a title. Let's say that I want a title here for the beginning of the scenario. And then I need to paste in a video URL. And you can see over here to the right, I have my YouTube account open. And I have pre-recorded a series of clips here for an interactive journey into how to correctly sort your garbage in a new garbage sorting system. That's a service that I have imagined here. So I have an entire playlist here that I want to use for this. So what I can do here is I can just paste, copy up here, a link to my video, and it will automatically then be embedded and you can play through it here inside our node. You can see here. Now, the way Scenario Maker then works is that enables you to create a series of options. You can see here in this video that at some point, the user will begin to look. He will try to figure out where should I go. So we could make two simple choices for him. We could add another option here. So we could say around here, around when he stands here and begins to look. Around here, around there, we would like him to have a few choices. So we would like to say either you should go to the right, or you should continue forward. And we want those choices to arrive here at around the 28-second mark. Here I can draw then a line. I can take this, you can see this dotted line here. I can draw that and say at this time code, I want the choices, these two buttons, to actually arrive. I can also do it so that after a certain while, if a user hasn't played a button, I will be able to auto-select. And I can choose if it should be option A or option B. That is the auto-select. So after these buttons arrive, you can select that it will auto-select after a series of seconds, and there will be a counter. You can also choose, okay, actually I want the video to end a bit before. You can do that by dragging this pause button, or you can choose when the video should actually start by dragging the play button. So in this way, you don't actually have to edit your clips. You can just capture them and then essentially choose when to start, stop, and when to show your choices. Now, the next thing you want to do is then to add some choices here. So let's add two more video blocks. We add one here. We add one here. And let's zoom a bit out. You can both zoom with your mouse and you can zoom with the buttons here. And you can always recenter with this button. Then we'll recenter everything. Let's zoom a bit out here. So let's say that the usually goes to the right. That goes up there. I drag, you can see I drag a node here from each of them to the end of this video node. And now I've actually created an interactive structure for my video. I can also change the color of the buttons if I wanted to. I could change them into something else. But let's, for now, go something in a nice pastel color here. Like this. And then the structure basically is that I then choose to take some other. I have this video called Write. I can just copy paste the URL for that one in here, and you can see okay. And let's call it the user goes to the right. It's really not that sophisticated what I'm doing here. And we can have the forward clip. Paste that one in here. Going on forward. Now I essentially have 2 clips, and I could save my video here, and I could be done with it. Of course, I could also add, just to show you, the text block here. If I added that one, say this text is why the garbage bins are not in the alley. And you can see when I then press here, in the middle of the empty text field, I will get an editor. So I can now take here, no bins in the alley, because the vans collecting garbage needs proper access. Let's say that is my argument. I don't know anything about this, but for the sake of argument here. And you can see you can do typography just like normally. Like this. If I close it, now it has updated, and I can connect this. Why did this not work? But I can also add the option here to say, let me go back. And then I could choose to actually say, okay, I actually want this one to just connect to the forward choice. I actually just wanted to say, okay, then we just move in the other direction. So now you can see we're beginning to create a structure here. And the same goes to, let's say then that I wanted a choice here for which of the bins that I should put something in. Let me create a node here for that. Let's create an end destination here. Trying the wrong paper bin, which is the wrong one for this. Let's do that like that. Put it in here. And let's just connect both of these. Here we say, let me try the paper bin. But here we want him to select it a bit fast. So we actually say, okay, the choices should come around when he is at the bins. It's around here, the 29 mark. But here we actually want the auto select to happen. So we only want to give him 5 seconds to react. So after that, he just makes the wrong choice, where the right choice would have been to use the assorted garbage. Like that. Okay. This would have been the correct one. Like that. All right. In this way now, I have created an interactive structure. I've shown you how you can customize things if you want to. We can make it whatever kind of layout we want. we still haven't seen the link button. We could maybe have here, it's the paper bin, it's the wrong bin. We could connect here. How does paper sorting work? And if I don't want to write that about that in a text, I know that there is a URL. There is a company called AVV who does garbage sorting in Denmark, in one of the regions. And I can say, okay, you should check that out. How does paper sorting work in practice? And then I can just send people to that place. Now created an interactive structure, and you can see both of these are now the end. If you have no connection here, then it means it will be the end of the video. And you can imagine that when you begin to build this, things can easily begin to look a bit distorted. You can maybe have messed things up. Is this actually the end? And then you have this auto sort button. Now it tries at the best it can to try to sort the entire scenario for you. Sometimes it works really nicely, and sometimes it needs a bit of a help. But see here what happens when I press. You can see it tries at least to rearrange some of the blocks so we don't get as much of a mess as we had before. You can see here, we can try again. Boom, something like that. Better organized. Now I am more or less ready to publish. I press publish here, and you can see here, okay, some options are not filled right now. That's because I haven't written anything here down here. So you can see it helps you also determine, am I actually ready to publish this so the user won't have a bad experience? Great success. And you can see when I then press publish, I get the opportunity to name my scenario. The right way, 2025. Then I can write up to 1200 units of text as an introduction to my scenario. Intro to how to best sort your garbage. But here you could write anything. If it was a movie, you could write sort of the introduction for whatever narrative it was. If it was a scenario for something more functional, a prototype, or a scenario for a service, you could describe sort of the context for the user or the organization here. You have 1200 units of signs. And the same goes for the end. You can sort of debrief or put in your credits or whatever you want to make here in the outro. Like you to do in the future. Great. I can go up here under styling. And under styling, it will briefly load the different ways you can sort of style how your scenario is then represented for you. You do it here with either the font family or changing the background color. You can see here if I press the font family, we can choose all kinds of Google web-safe fonts here. Let's find something. This is a bit rubbing dirt. I think that works cool. And I can choose a background color, and the font family will automatically sort of make a contrast to that. So let's just choose a black background. Then I press publish. It will ask me, am I sure? Yeah, I'm sure. And we will now then have our scenario. You can see here, now I have all the metadata. I can also set a password if I want to. I can set a password. So you actually need a password in order to see the scenario. It could be great if there are any, let's see, they say GDPR things. I can change the URL, stuff like that. I don't need that now. And you will also later on begin to be able to see analytics here. Let me take a scenario that has already been viewed a couple of times. I'll take this one here, where you can see sort of a flow chart here. You can see how people have used it. This is a very simple one. I have one in Danish here, which has been tried a few more times. Then you can begin to see, okay, how have people actually journeyed through the interactive choices? Who the red ones are, where did people stop? So it's our bounce rate. And I can go more into different sessions. This is specific sessions. This is a user ID, anonymized, of course. And I can dive into that one and see, okay, what did that user do, or what did this specific user do when they were going through our scenario. I can sort of see where did they go through. So that is the basis of, we basically get data, we get insight, we get the ability to also change our scenario. I can always go back here. Let's find the scenario we just did. I can always go back, change things if I want to, continue on working on it, republish it. And the most important part, of course, is I can also play it. Now, see, when I press play, you get a public link. You can share this with people. And now you have the styling we did before. And I can just press begin. And now we get a scenario that actually runs. And you get the opportunity to scrub through the video. But besides that, it is adaptive. It will adapt to mobile, tablet, or desktop. And now the video plays, and if we jump through it, you can see that in a moment the choices will come. And you can see I have the countdown here. Where should we go? Where should we go? Let's go to the right. And you can see it jumps to the next video, and the user goes to the right. Now we made a very simple one here, only 2 choices. You can make up to 6 buttons here. And you can see the outlines here that some stuff will happen. So you can do up to 6 choices per session here. You can see I had added a bit stuff here to my video. But essentially, this is how we create a very, very simple way to do interactive videos where you just need to have stuff uploaded on YouTube. I recommend just making a playlist. And then you can edit the ins and outs. You can edit when buttons arrive. You can edit sort of the styling of it. You can see here, I didn't add a countdown. I just did so that it would freeze frame, basically to give the user some time. And I can ask, why did this not work? You can see here then comes our text. We wrote something really, really basic here. But again, I could have added images. I could have added thousands of words of text for the user to read before clicking continue. And then we're on to the next part of the video here. This was the paper bin. I don't know how meaningful this scenario actually ended up being, but you can see here that at least we still stand here and we're like, okay, what are we actually going to do here? Are we going to do this the right or the wrong way? And then you can see we added the option for the paper sorting also. This is the pop-up. So you can actually say, okay, here you need to read this. It opens a pop-up window for this specific company where I can read about garbage sorting. When I'm done with that, if you close the window, you're back into the scenario. So you can create sort of these ins and outs of the scenario. Click continue. And then actually that ended this specific user's journey. This is our outro sign basically happening here. So here we basically saw that our click-through was that I started here. I went into the alley. I asked why did it not work. I ended up seeing this text block. I went to the paper bin, and we had made it so there was only one choice there. Of course, I could also have made it so that say, okay, this one should actually also be able to lead you down here. Try another bin, sending us down here. And in this way, you can see when we test it, we can see what do people do? Do they need more? We can go out, we can film more clips, and we can add them to the scenario, and we can do the stuff. We can always also, when we're in the scenario, you can always pull up the guide, the how-to, by pressing the I. You can lock things so people so you can't really change anything if you just don't want to see the scenario. You can always also individually make them smaller if you made a lot and won't want them to fill that much on the screen, or you can choose to collapse or expand all of them at once. And you also have the option to say, okay, I actually want a copy of this because I want to make sort of a loop. Then you can press down here. You have the option to copy and paste. You can also just do it on the keyboard, copy paste. just like you're used to do. So that might say, okay, I actually want people to send people back into this later on, and I want to make it more simple. Then you can make it so like that. Something like this. Now we have 2 new outros, basically. And if I want to go back, I can always undo. You can see here, I'm basically undoing some of our choices here. So you always have the option to do these different things. Delete, change your scenario, all of these kinds of things, and do sort of proper editing of it all here inside of Scenario Maker. Of course, you can also clear everything. Be mindful that if you do that, you will delete everything. See, like that. Here it was lucky that I can then just press undo, so I didn't lose all of our material that we just did here. So that basically concludes this short walkthrough of Scenario Maker. You can see here we have one finished session now. I can see what did the user do, and this session is recorded. At the instant that people have pressed, your data will be registered. So not just only can you do interactive video, you can also do very, very fast and rapid ways of testing what would people actually do. What are the reactions to your interactive narrative, your interactive scenario, your test, your questionnaire based on video, etc. I hope this gives you a rather fast, overall view of what Scenario Maker can be used for, and I wish you good luck on creating your interactive scenarios through video and through Scenario Maker. Happy editing!